lovely people, welcome back to my channel. How are you guys today? Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about the 2 English exams that you can take for your express entry or PR's application. So we're talking about CElPIP and IELTS. Now you can also do TEF, which is for French, if you speak French. If you don't, that's okay. The 2 English exams are what we're focusing on in this video. So the exam I did was CElPIP General, and I'm going to list the reasons I chose that exam versus the IELTS. Ultimately, it is up to you to decide which exam you need to do, but I just went with CElPIP. So the CElPIP is the cheaper of the 2. It costs $265 plus tax. Could be less depending on the province, and then the IELTS is $309 plus tax. And again, it could be more or less depending on the province that you're taking the exam in. Now, the IELTS is only in 5 provinces, but across 119 locations, whereas the CElPIP is in 9 provinces at 33 locations. When I was moving to Saskatoon, I realized the CElPIP was closer to where I'd be living, because if I wanted to do IELTS, I had to drive to Regina, which is 2.5 hours away, and the CElPIP was like 10 to 15 minutes, as it's just downtown. So of course I was like, it's cheaper going downtown, plus the exam is cheaper than if I wanted to do the IELTS. Even when I was in Peterborough, the IELTS and CElPIP were both at a further location from me, but I was going to do the CElPIP because if I'm going to have to drive far for the exam, I don't want to do it 2 days. So that's one of the factors for IELTS. The exam is separated in 2 parts. So you have all the writing stuff, which is the listening, reading, writing. Then you have the speaking section, where it's a face-to-face speaking exercise. So it might be on the same day, or it could be on a different day. So it just depends on the testing center. And I was like, I don't want to have to take 2 days to go do an exam. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing IELTS for that reason. And the fact that you have to speak in front of someone just seems more intimidating to me. So I was like, yeah, definitely not. I prefer to speak to a computer, so I chose CElPIP for that reason. The IELTS is paper-based, so you're writing everything on a piece of paper, versus CElPIP is computer-based, and I've been using computers to do exams in so long now that I was like, you know what, I don't want to have to go through writing. The last time I had to write an exam was 2017 UA. That's it. And I ended UA, May of 2017. So it's been years since we had to use a paper to write an exam, and I was like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing that. And I'm just not speaking in front of someone and they judge my English. No, CElPIP is based on Canadian English. IELTS is based on the American and British and other versions of English. So the IELTS is a little bit harder than the CElPIP, and because I've been living in Canada for over a year, I just felt like I was adept at speaking and listening and doing the Canadian English version, because I was working in a call center prior. So I was like, yeah, I had a year working at Nordia, listening to Canadians speak. I think I can manage doing their exams and interpreting their English. So I felt like that was an easy option for me. And it was easy cost-wise, it was easy exam-wise. I knew I wouldn't have to study for the CElPIP because it's such an easier exam. So once I did the practice test a few months before doing my CElPIP, I knew I could manage it, because I did the practice test to know the format of the exam. But for IELTS, most persons have to study really hard for it. And then my friends that did IELTS, they said they studied, but they didn't perform as well as I would have wanted to. So it's like, if you're gonna study and not do well, then I might as well just do an exam where I'm not gonna study. That way, if I don't study and I don't do well, I don't feel badly. Sorry. Now I follow Rika Brooks on YouTube, and she did the CElPIP as well. She also provides advice on migrating to Canada, so you guys can check her out. It's Rika Brooks, Brooks. So she studied for her CElPIP and she scored really well. I think she got 211s and 212s, which is what I got. I didn't study though. But yeah, she studied and she got that. So when I heard that grade versus the persons who said they studied for IELTS's grade, I was like, I'll go with CElPIP. And so in terms of for migration, the CElPIP, again, is scored on the same bandwidth as the express entry scorecard because it's from, up to 12. Whereas the IELTS is up to 9. So, a 9 would be equivalent to a 10 to 12 for the other exam and for the express entry scorecard. So I just felt like CElPIP is more in line with the scorecard. Might as well just do CElPIP as well. But IELTS, again, it's better for persons who are planning to do a master's afterwards because you can apply your IELTS grade to your master's application and that counts, versus the CElPIP doesn't count for applying for a master's here in Canada after. So if you plan to do your master's, you might want to do the IELTS for that reason. Of course, depending on which master's you're going to be doing, you might still have to do GMAT or GRE anyway. So that's why I decided, I don't need to do IELTS for that because I'll still have to do my GRE or GMAT. And yeah, what's the point? So for GRE, you still have an English component that you have to do. So I didn't need to do IELTS for that reason. So yeah, those are some of the reasons I chose the exam I got the score within 3 days. For IELTS, it may take a bit longer just because it is a paper written exam and then you have actual individuals scoring it versus, doing it online. So that's just really some of the reasons I chose to go with CElPIP. Again, it's up to you and it depends where you're doing the exam from, because if you're doing the exam overseas and you're not in Canada, you won't have access to doing CElPIP probably. So of course you're gonna want to do IELTS in that case. But if you are already here in Canada or you're visiting Canada, I say do the CElPIP because it's just a much easier exam. It's gonna help you to get your PR in a stress-free way versus having to worry about studying for IELTS. Anybody had time for that? But yeah, that's really the only thing I have to provide on those two. Again, it's just the cost and the traveling to do one versus the 2 days of exam versus 1 day of exam, and all those are the factors that I use to judge which one I wanted to do and the location, and it's up to you of which one you choose. But I say if you have access to doing something simpler without stressing yourself, do it. I was watching a movie last night and the guy cheated on a game and someone said, you cheated, and he said, no, it's winning without the pain. Yes, it kind of was cheating, but he said it's winning without the pain, and that resonated with me. I'm like, why are we always trying to do things the hard way? Do it the smart way. Do something simple that's worth the same thing, and you get the same result that you would if you did it the hard way. That's how I see life now. I'm not, because a lot of people are gonna be like, but you're smart, you could have. No, I'm smart, meaning I'm gonna use my brain power for something else. Not an English exam. We come from English speaking countries anyway. Oh my god, sorry, my head is killing me all of a sudden. Like, just killing me. Maybe I need some water. But yeah, and this is my second attempt of doing this video. So if I sound kind of blah, it's because I tried to do the video before and it was so much better, but then the information was a bit more scrambled because I was talking at the top of my head and reading. Oh my god, my head. Where's that headache coming from? I might go with the first version. Yeah. Or I might use this version. Who knows? Bye, guys. Honestly.